Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. So today's video is actually pretty fun. I'm going to be talking about my dragon readathon. I'm planning on doing this in March. You're welcome to join along if you would like. I think it would be fun. I think it would be fun for other people to do it, but you don't have to. I'm going to do it. I'm going to kind of be giving you the rundown of what that looks like and what I'm planning on reading in March. So I wanted to post this earlier because I think you kind of need time, if you're going to participate in something like this. You just need time to figure out what books you're going to read based on the prompts and all of that. I will see if I can get a story graph, reading challenge up. We'll see. But this is kind of very Empyrean inspired. It's dragons in general, but the categories and stuff are very Empyrean, Fourth Wing inspired. But I'm very excited about it. I just thought it was a fun idea. I just had a random idea about it. I love reading about dragons, and so I was like, I should just do a month where I read about dragons. And then I was like, you know what? I should make it like a readathon. So I guess reading challenge. I don't really know what to call it. A dragon book challenge. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to be explaining to you the different categories and then my picks for those categories. And then explaining so if you wanted to read something like this, you could do this. I'm going to give you the explanations and my reasoning, but let's just get into it. So also, while this is inspired by the Empyrean, I'm trying not to have any spoilers for anybody that has only read Fourth Wing or not even read any of it. I think that's okay for this. So there's going to be 6 categories, all based on a color of a dragon in the Empyrean series. For blue dragons, they are ruthless and large and do not adhere to the laws as understood by dragons, and they're also the most vicious of dragon kind. And obviously, if you can't, so the colors of dragons are blue, orange, brown, red, black, and green. So I just described to you what the blue one is. So essentially what you do is you take the description of the dragon and then you match that to a book. You can be as liberal with this as you want, but the rules of the reading challenge, readathon, is that it has to fit one of the prompts, and the book has to have dragons in it to some extent. So those are kind of the rules going into it. So the goal is to read 6 books in the month of March that fit the prompts and have dragons in them. Not a whole lot of rules you have to follow, but potentially it could be difficult for some people to find that many books with dragons in it. I think there's lots of books with dragons in it after I started to make this. But I just thought this would be a really fun idea, and I'm just excited to do it and to challenge myself, even if nobody else wants to do it with me. But I would love if you joined. So we talked about blue. Blue is ruthless and large and the most vicious. Do not adhere to laws as understood by dragons. So for this prompt, I decided to go with Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. The reason I picked this book for this prompt is that it's because it's about a group of people driven by revenge. So revenge is very ruthless and vicious to me. So because it's a group of people and that is their goal, I decided to put this as the blue dragon prompt. And it's also I think, romantasy, so I've been very curious about it. I love that there's dragons in it. I've been wanting to read this, I just never got around to it. So now I will. And it says, Princess, Prisoner, Runaway Queen, Elowen, a princess, came into the world like a firestorm made flesh. A princess with a link to 5 dragons should have been a blessing to her kingdom, but her blessing became her curse. The little girl in shackles became a knife-wielding woman with a thirst for retaliation. Now the queen, a secret kingdom she forged through strength and survival, Elowen needs a way to feed her rising population. And the commander of her father's enemy kingdom offers her a deal she's been dreaming of for years. How can she not take it? Even if he ignites her temper like no other, nothing unites 2 begrudging allies more than a common enemy. The pair of them, along with 3 accomplices, will navigate their partnership politics and attempt to pull off the greatest heist their world has ever known. 5 people, all united through revenge, will have to transcend the odds stacked against them and infiltrate the impenetrable castle if they want to reap the rewards before someone reaps their souls. Putting aside their differences to accomplish a common goal, because everyone knows vengeance is a promise signed in blood. So that is my pick for the blue dragons. I'm very curious to read this. I've been interested in it, like I said, for a long time. So that is going to be my prompt for blue dragons. And then we get to orange dragons. So orange dragons are known to be unpredictable, and they are the riskiest type of dragon because they're so unpredictable and you have no idea what they're going to do. So for this prompt, I decided to go with Ascendant by Michael R. Miller. This is book 1 in the Songs of Chaos. This was originally an indie published book about dragon riding, and I thought it was very cute. I've been wanting to read it for a while. I thought this would fit this prompt really well because the main character is kind of an underdog, and his dragon is not meant to survive. So it's very risky to bond this dragon because it has a malformity, because it's blind. So it's risky for him to even try to bond this dragon because a blind dragon, like, how is that going to work, you know? So I thought it would fit the risky, unpredictable portion of the orange dragons because this is an unlikely pairing and probably something that shouldn't have, in theory, shouldn't have happened, but became a beautiful partnership, I assume. It says that Holt Cook was never meant to be a dragon rider. He has always served the order hall of the crag, dutifully keeping their kitchen pots clean, until he discovers a dark secret. Dragons do not tolerate weakness among their kin, killing the young they deem flawed. Moved by pity, Holt defies the order, rescues a doomed egg, and vows to protect the blind dragon within. But the scourge is rising. Undead hordes roam the land, spreading the blight and leaving destruction in their wake. The dragon riders are being slaughtered, and betrayal lurks in the shadows. Holt has one chance to survive. He must cultivate the mysterious power of his dragon's magical core, a unique energy which may tip the balance in the battles to come, and prove to the world that a servant is worthy after all. So I just thought that was really cute, and I kind of wanted to take a different approach to the risk element of the orange dragons, so that's going to be my prompt for that one. And then we get to brown dragons. Brown dragons should not be shown fear or apprehension. Kind of all I have on them. But for that, it kind of prompted me to think of a series that I had started. I read the first book and then I didn't finish it, but I've always wanted to continue. I still do. And I decided that I was going to pick Searching for Dragons by Patricia C. Reed, which is book 2 in the Enchanted Forest Chronicles. Because Princess Cimarine, the princess in this story, is fearless in going to the dragons and becoming a part of their lives. So in book 1, she's heard of princesses being kidnapped, so she's not forced to marry a prince. And so she goes and gives herself to a dragon to be kidnapped, to be like held as the dragon's hoard. So she doesn't have to get married because she doesn't want to. So she's very fearless for going into a dragon's lair and demanding to be like their servant, essentially. And it's a really cute story. It's like, if it's not middle grade, it might be younger than middle grade. Either way, it was a very adorable story, and I wanted to continue, and I wanted to continue to see what happens with Princess Cimarine and the dragons. So I thought she showed no fear or apprehension when she approached the dragons and became a part of their society. So she's going to be my prompt for the brown dragons. I'm not sure what book 2 entails, honestly, but in the first one, like I said, all of that where she gets encapsulated in the dragon society, but there's a bunch of plots at foot with the wizards and the dragons, and there's sinister things that happen, and then they resolve it, and there's a new dragon king. It's just very cute. Kidnap a dragon? How daring. That's the first part of the synopsis. That's funny. So that's going to be my prompt for the brown dragons. And then we get to red dragons. So red dragons are hot-headed and quick-tempered, and you never look them in the eye. So for this one, of course, I had to pick Murtagh by Christopher Paolini. This is, I don't know if it's technically set in the same Aragon series, so like there's the 4 books of the Inheritance Cycle. I think this is separate, but it's still in the same world, obviously, because it follows Murtagh and Thorn, the red dragon. I know this is maybe a little bit on the nose because he is a red dragon. They had a really hard life, Murtagh and Thorn, and were angry and hot-headed in Aragon when I was reading that Inheritance Cycle, which is why I picked that prompt for this. This is also a book that I've been meaning to read for a while since it came out. I was very excited to continue in this world, even though Christopher Paolini and I have a love-hate relationship with lulls in the story, but that's just high fantasy sometimes. And I've been really wanting to read Murtagh's story because I did really like his character and Thorn's character in the Inheritance Cycle. Oh, yep, it does say Inheritance Cycle number 5, so there you go. So it says, join Dragon Rider, the fan favorite, Murtagh and his dragon as they confront a perilous new enemy. The world is no longer safe for the Dragon Rider Murtagh and his dragon Thorn. An evil king has been toppled, and they are left to face the consequences of the reluctant role they played in his reign of terror. Now they are hated and alone, exiled to the outskirts of society. Throughout the land, hushed voices whisper of brittle ground and a faint scent of brimstone in the air. And Murtagh senses that something wicked lurks in the shadows of Algasia. So begins an epic journey into the lands both familiar and untraveled, where Murtagh and Thorn must use every weapon in their arsenal, from brains to brawn, to find and outwit a mysterious witch. A witch who is much more than she seems. In this gripping novel, Dragon Rider must discover what he stands for in a world that has abandoned him. I think that's perfect for the prompt. They're surrounded by hate, and they themselves were very angry and hot-headed. And then we get to black dragons, my personal fave. Black dragons are known to be smart and are planners. They're also very rare. They are the deadliest, most powerful, smartest, and most cunning of dragon kind. They are also the most discerning, which I find is really interesting because they're deadliest, powerful, but they're also very wise. They're very discerning. They're very smart. They plan. So to fit this prompt, I decided to go with Flamefall by Rosaria Munda. This is book 2 in the Aurelian cycle. The first one is Fireborn. And the reason I picked this for the Black Dragon prompt is because this series is very military based. It's very political and having to navigate everything that comes with that. There's a lot of gray area. The author is a political science major and she really brings that into her writing. It's very complicated. So when you're reading when you're reading Fireborn, it goes into the decisions you have to make as a military that are not quote unquote good. It's either you hurt these people or you hurt these people. There's no happy medium. And because it's so strategic and military-esque, but also very political, I thought that would be a good fit for the Black Dragons because they're very power focused. There's a lot of corruption, a lot of strategy where they have to navigate people that are potentially betraying them or potentially don't have the best intentions for everyone. There's undermining things. There's just vicious things all around. And it takes a lot of cunning to navigate those. So that's why I decided to pick Flamefall for this prompt, and I've also really wanted to continue. I think the first one was very, very good, and I'm excited to continue. And last but not least, we have green dragons. Green dragons are reasonable. They are highly intelligent and make excellent siege weapons. Submission and patience are essential when approaching green dragons, and they are very rational. So to fit this prompt, I decided to go with A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson. This is a more interesting one, and the reason I picked it is because it's more of a dark academia focused dragon story. So it's dark academia, uncovering secrets, and a civil war, which I thought very much fit the green dragon vibe. And the summary says, every act of translation requires sacrifice. Welcome to Bletchley Park. With dragons. London, 1923. Dragons soar through the skies and protests erupt on the streets. But Vivian Featherswallow isn't worried. She's going to follow the rules, get an internship studying dragon languages, and make sure her little sister never has to risk growing up third class. By midnight, Viv has started a civil war. With her parents arrested and her sister missing, all the safety Viv has worked for is collapsing around her. So when a lifeline is offered in the form of a mysterious job, she grabs it. Arriving at Bletchley Park, Viv discovers that she has been recruited as a codebreaker helping the war effort. If she succeeds, she and her family can all go home. If she doesn't, they all die. At first, Viv believes that her challenge of discovering the secrets of hidden dragon language is doable. But the more she learns, the more she realizes that the bubble she's grown up in isn't as safe as she thought. And eventually, Viv must decide what war is she really fighting. An epic, sweeping fantasy with an incredible dark academia setting, a clandestine, slow-burn enemies-to-lovers romance, and an unputdownable story filled with twists and turns, betrayals, and secret identities. A Language of Dragons is an unmissable debut of 2025. So I'm very excited to read this book. I was very excited about it when I heard about it. It was an anticipated release of mine. Also, when I got my Fairlit edition in over here, I think it fits the green dragon vibe perfectly, but I'm very excited to read it. I've been very excited to read it, so I'm anxious to finally get to it. Those are all of the prompts for the Dragon Reading Challenge, Dragon Readathon, whatever you want to call it. We'll probably call it Dragon Reading Challenge. But I hope you thought this was fun. I think it's really fun, and I'm very excited to participate in this. If you'd like to participate in it, I will have the prompts in the description bar down below. If I can get a Storygraph reading challenge up, I will also have the link for that. But I hope some of you join me in this. I'm very excited and looking forward to reading all about dragons in March. So please comment down below if you're going to be joining me in this challenge. But for now, that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.